This meeting is being recorded.
Hi, everyone. Thank you for attending. I'll call the meeting to order at 1:10 p.m. Start with the territorial acknowledgement. We acknowledge that the SFSS is located on the unceded territories of the Coast Salish peoples, including Musqueam, Squamish, Tsleil-Waututh, Coquitlam, and Katzie nations. Unceded means that these territories have never been handed over, sold, or given up by these nations, and we're currently situated on occupied territories. We'll start with the roll call of attendance. When you call in your position, please give your name, pronouns, and access needs. And access needs are anything that would could either impact your ability to fully engage in the meeting or things that we could do to help you better engage. And that could be things like environmental issues, noisy background, unstable internet. It could be, or it could be personal or internal things like needing someone to speak up louder or speak more clearly or repeat something. Please let us know how we can help. Okay, start with acting president, who's the chair of the committee. Myself, my name is Corbett, pronouns are he, him, his, and access needs are met. VP Events and Student Affairs is the vice chair of the committee. Jess, she's she, her, I'm her, she's sick. Sorry. VP External Community Affairs. Not here yet. VP Equity and Sustainability let me know she'd be late. VP Finance and Services.
Hi everyone, my name is Almis Ventura. I use she, her pronouns and all my access needs are met. It's just that I'm also doing some administrative tasks on the side. Thank you.
Okay. VP University and Academic Affairs. Oh, sorry, VP Internal and Organizational Development. My apologies.
Hi, my name is Chloe. My pronouns are she, her. As for access needs, my Wi-Fi is a bit unstable, so I'm just keeping my camera off for now.
Okay, thank you. VP University and Academic Affairs.
Hey everyone, my name is Serena. My pronouns are they, she. In terms of access needs, just feeling a bit under the weather today, and I'm also in 2 meetings at once for the first couple of hours of this meeting. So I just might ask folks to repeat themselves if I didn't hear them.
Okay, thank you. Society staff, board organizer.
Hi everyone, this is Ella. Pronouns are she, her, hers, and all my access needs are met this morning. Thank you.
Thank you. Building manager.
Hi all, John here, building manager, pronouns he, him, his, and all my access needs are met.
Thank you. Operations organizer.
Hi everyone, my name's Aisha. Pronouns are she, her, hers. My access needs are met. I do just want to say that I will have to leave at 2:45 today for a medical appointment.
Okay, thank you. Policy Research Community Affairs Coordinator. Don't think BD's here. Administrative assistants.
Hi, my name is Fanny Fan, she, her. My Wi-Fi is a bit dodgy, but otherwise it should be good.
Thank you. We have a number of guests today. I'll go through lists from the participant list. Math counselor.
Hi, I'm Ben. Pronouns he, him, his. All my access needs are met.
Thank you. Poli-sci counselor.
Hi everyone, my name is Abby. Pronouns are he, him, his, and all my access needs are met. Thank you.
Thank you. Incoming VP Internal and Organizational Development. Read the chat. Hi all, I'm Judith. She, her. Access needs are met. I'm just sick, so talking will be limited for me. Okay. Thank you for letting us know. Oh, sorry. Incoming president.
Was it that hard to see me, Corbett? I'm joking. I'm kidding with you. Hey everyone, my name is Helen. My pronouns are she, her. My access needs are met, but I might be keeping my camera on and off throughout the meeting as I'm doing emails while listening in. So thank you all today.
Okay, thank you. We'll move on to item 4, consent agenda, 4.1. Motion reads, be it resolved to adopt the consent agenda by unanimous consent. There is one item in the consent agenda, matters rising from the minutes from the April 19th executive committee meeting. Is there any objections to approving this item? Seeing none, that is passed unanimously. We'll move on to item 5, adoption of the agenda. 5.1, motion reads, be it resolved to adopt the agenda as presented. Do I have a mover? Jess moves. Do I have a seconder?
Chloe?
Thank you, Chloe. Okay, if you'd like to make amendments, please list yourself in chat. See, Jess has already started, and I'll put myself in as well. Go ahead, Jess. So number 1, staff party honorarium and honoring ceremony. And motion 2, or item 2, staff party food. Just making the motions right now. Okay. And okay, you'll add them. Okay, so Serena is also, I'm on the list, Serena, and Almas, you're on the list as well. That's what I mean by me too. Okay, council certificates, okay. So can you specify if they're motions, discussion items, what they are? Anyways, and do that in chat. I'll list mine out now. I'd like to add okay, sorry, I had a couple of different guys. I'd like to add a motion for the graphic design assistance hiring commit. I'll just type it out. And 1, 2, E.
Corbett, can I just make a change to that? It's officially called communications assistant.
Oh, okay.
Thanks.
Okay. And I'd like to amend to move to in-camera, having camera items moved to be before new business. Just because we have a person come in and present, and we don't want have them sit through the whole most of the meeting. Okay. So okay, go ahead and sorry, just a little less organized today. Serena, go ahead for your items.
Just wanted to add a discussion item to the in-camera section titled TSSU GSSU joint letter.
Yeah, that's already on the in-camera.
Oh, okay, thank you.
It's just titled as joint letter, I think, in the in-camera section. Just double checking. Yeah, SFU joint letter.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, and Almas, can you explain yours now?
So a couple of days ago, I'd sent a proposal for council certificates or something small like that for their work in their roles this year. Given that some of our counselors have done tremendous amount of work, and also people like the BPK counselor, Kashish, have done some really impactful tasks as well. I was looking at getting some sort of, I'm not sure what to call it, medals or like basically some sort of going away thingy to all our counselors. And I know some of you liked the idea. I'm not sure who were those folks. So I just wanted to discuss that in more detail. There are some sections in the budget where we still have funds left. And on talking to the person that I could find for making these, pardon?
I didn't say anything.
Okay, I thought somebody spoke. Yeah, so on talking to the person who has agreed to make these, if we want to go ahead, I figured out that we could have we could have them made anywhere between $5 to $12 for one, based on what we end up liking. And even if we get it made for all the counselors, it is not going to be more than like $750 or $800. And I
Okay.
think this is also a great way for honoring
We can
them.
go-
One.
But we can go into the reasons at the actual discussion time. So we're still setting the
Okay,
agenda.
sounds good. Thank you.
So do you want this to be a discussion item?
Yes, a discussion item.
Okay. So just for summary, just to make sure, basically adding a new item, comms assistant hiring committee. Sorry, a new motion. Adding 2 new motions for some spending for a staff party honorariums and honorary ceremony, and then staff party food from Jess. And what Rita suggested is already on the agenda. And I'm also recommending, and also adding a discussion item for counselor certificates or counselor recognition. And I would also moving the agenda to have the in-camera section occur before new business. Oh, and I'm also striking 10.1 and 10.2 because that's going to actually be put back onto the consent agenda for council on 27th. My mistake. How about that? Okay. So, any more amendments or changes? Okay. Then I'll request to have this all approved as a batch. I'll move it. Do I have a seconder?
Chloe.
Thanks, Chloe. Okay, discussion on this batch. Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All in favor, seeking unanimous consent. If you'd like to abstain or dissent, please use a raise hand feature in Zoom, and I will call on you to record your vote. Okay, that passes. Now we're back onto the main motion, which is the amended agenda. Again, one last chance to make any changes. Okay. Seeing none, go to a vote. All in favor, seeking unanimous consent. If you'd like to abstain or dissent, please use the raise hand feature in Zoom, and I'll call on you to record your vote. Okay, passes unanimously. We are now we're going to move in camera. I move to be it resolved to go in camera. Do I have a seconder?
Chloe.
Chloe, thank you. So give me a second to think about that. One, I'd like to invite our incoming execs, which is Abby, Helen, Judith, and probably a good idea for Aisha and Ella to be in for at least for the health and dental plan updates, just so for because you're transitioning, like you're the ones to transition past us. Yeah, I think that's good for now. We can always. Oh, and Ben asked to be part of it as OCO chair, just to be kind of in the loop for stuff that's going to be going on past our time period, and I'm okay with that. Yeah, I think that's good. That's good. So give me a minute to pause everything. Yeah, I'll do that, John. Okay.
This meeting is being recorded.
Hi, everyone. So we are back from in camera. So I'm moving us to go to X camera. Do I have a seconder?
Marie.
Thank you, Marie. All in favor seeking unanimous consent. If you'd like to abstain or dissent, please use the raise hand feature in Zoom, and I'll call on you to record your vote. Seeing none, that carries unanimously. We are now back into our regularly scheduled agenda items. Due to time, I'm going to extend, I'm going to make a motion to extend the meeting up to 5 p.m. Do I have a seconder?
Marie.
Thank you, Marie. Hopefully we don't have to use discussion. Hopefully we don't have to use all of it, but we just want to make sure certain motions get discussed and hopefully passed. And yeah, so all in favor seeking unanimous consent. If you'd like to abstain or dissent, please use the raise hand feature, and I'll call you to record your vote. Okay, that carries unanimously. Thank you very much. And I would like to amend the agenda to do a couple things. One will be adding a couple of motions based on discussions from in camera, as well as removing, I think I'm going to postpone or strike some motions as well to reduce our amounts, what we have on the agenda. I'd like to strike 7.1, reports from management, and I'd like to I'm going to strike the discussion item, counselor certificates. I think we can discuss that in through email first. I'll do that with you almost ahead of time. Need to add 2 motions. One is titled Health and Dental and Dental Plan 24-month contract recommendation. She should have had this done up ahead of time. Okay. And the second titled item would be Health and Dental Plan 5% fee increase recommendation. Okay. And then Serena would like to add a motion titled SFE joint letter. Let's do that one first. Actually, no, we'll do the one for the staff event, because I think that's important, and then we'll do the joint letter and then the health plan staff recommendations after that. Thank you for the motions. Jess? Yeah, they're 2 separate motions. So just for clarity, what I'm recommending doing is striking 7.1, striking 10.4, and striking the discussion item, and then adding, moving the staff party honorarium and honoring ceremony and the staff party food motions up and to be first, and then the motion for SFE joint letter, and then another 2 will be the health and dental plan recommendations. Those will be last because I still have time to have to write out those motions. Okay. That's all in big batch. Do I have a seconder?
Marie.
Thank you, Marie. Do you have any discussion on the batch of items? Seeing none, move to a vote. All in favor, seeking unanimous consent. If you'd like to abstain or dissent, please use the raise hand feature in Zoom, and I'll call on you to record your votes. Okay, it passes unanimously and the agenda has been amended. We'll move on to the first item in the new business, staff party honorarium and honoring ceremony. Motion reads, whereas the executive committee is hosting a staff celebration on Thursday, April 28th, to honor the work of our staff has done over the past 2 years during the ongoing pandemic. Whereas the executive committee will be asking members from community, Ian and Calvin B, to sing and drum and want to provide an honorarium. Whereas this will be an honoring ceremony for our staff that will involve blanketing and gifts of quarters as per protocol. Resolved that the executive committee offers $750 for the honorarium and honoring ceremony through the Good and Welfare Budget 816/31. Do I have a mover?
Jess moves.
Hey Jess, thank you. Do you have a seconder?
Serena.
Thank you, Serena. Any discussion on this item? Or actually, Jess, as the mover, would you like to introduce it?
Yeah, so for context, the staff party got moved to next week because I got sick. So it's on Thursday, also executive. This is your reminder to fill in your lunch order for next week if you haven't done already, because we have catering. And so it's 3 hours long, and what we're going to do for the beginning is that we have people from community to sing and drum for us and do the opening for us. And we're also going to follow an honoring ceremony where we're going to blanket the staff. So the staff have been working for over 2 years in the pandemic, and we wanted to honestly just say thank you for all of the work that they've been doing for the past 2 years. And with the blanketing, we have Ian and Kelvin doing that, and that's West Coast protocol, and so there's going to be a ceremony involved as well. And so we want to offer them an honorarium for both of them. And so in total we have $750 to reach out to Ian and Kelvin and Uncle Kevin's the elder, and it's taking out of the Good and Welfare budget because our staff are involved as well.
Okay, thank you. Any discussion on this? Liz, please just list yourself. Seeing none, move to a vote. All in favor, seeking unanimous consent. If you'd like to abstain or dissent, please use the raise hand feature in Zoom, and I'll call on you to record your vote. Okay, that passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Move on to the next item, staff party food. Whereas the executive committee is hosting a staff celebration, the motion reads, whereas the executive committee is hosting a staff celebration on Tuesday, April 28th, to honor the work our staff has done over the past 2 years during the ongoing pandemic. Whereas Deputy Chavin, SFSS events coordinator, has looked for catering options, and together we have chosen Beanery Coffee House and Eatery. Whereas with the amount of staff who has signed up so far and the guests attending, we are budgeting food expenses to be $1,500. Result that the executive committee offer $1,500 for the food and catering from the Good and Welfare Budget 816/31. Do I have a mover?
Jess moves.
Thank you. Do I have a seconder?
Matt.
Thank you, Matt. Just as the mover of the motion, would you like to introduce it?
Yeah, so same topic, same thing. We're just offering to pay for the catering just because we're the employers and we're trying to feed our staff for that day. Dipti has already graciously used part of her events budget to also help fund for this staff party, to help with the purchasing of the blankets for the honoring ceremony, the bandanas, and the prizes for our staff. This is just for the food. This is lunch options, so everyone can get fed.
Thank you. Is there any discussion on this item? Seeing none, we'll move to a vote. All in favor seeking unanimous consent. If you'd like to abstain or dissent, please use the raise hand feature in Zoom, and I'll call on you to record your vote. Seeing none, that passes unanimously. Thank you. We now move into next item, which is motion titled SFU joint letter. I'll read out the motion. Whereas the members of the GSS, CSSU, and SFBRG have been working on a joint letter to SFU, whereas the SFSS executive read the letter in camera and discussed whether or not to sign on, be resolved by the SFSS executive committee to sign on to the aforementioned letter. Be it further resolved that the SFSS executive committee recommend the SFSS council sign on to the letter once it becomes public. Do I have a mover?
Serena?
Thank you, Serena. Do we have a seconder?
Jess?
Go ahead, Jess. Thank you, Jess. Serena, as a mover of the motion, would you like to introduce it?
Yeah, so this is just in reference to the in-camera conversation about the SFU joint letter that folks have been working on. And based on that conversation, whether folks want to vote in favor or against or abstain of this motion, I guess, is the way I can describe it without going into anything that we discussed.
Thank you. Yeah, it's kind of, this is related to a currently confidential letter. One second. Okay. Thank you, Serena. Open to discussion. Go ahead, Jess.
Yeah, I just wanted, based on the in-camera discussion that we had and what was reviewed and the personal experiences that people have expressed, I also see it as necessary that we sign on this letter to take a stance on the issue that is being presented, and that we, that it just teaches people that we need to do better for our community. So I'm in full support of this motion. We'll be voting in favor.
Okay, thank you, Jess. Ben, you list yourself?
Yeah, so obviously without going into anything in camera, I'll just speak to again my concern with this being done by the executive without bringing this to council, without, can I say that this wasn't told to council? I think. And I am deeply concerned with the executive taking this action without consulting council on signing the letter.
Okay, thank you, Ben. I'll make my own response to Ben and others. Sorry, one second. I'm just getting, I'm going to mute notification for 1 second. Thank you, Ben. And this was discussed in camera, and so I'll do my best to only talk about what we can go publicly. This came to exec first partially because of the confidentiality nature, the sensitive nature of the information, combined with the difficulty councils had with keeping confidential things confidential, even with to the point where we've had to launch an investigation and even impeach one member and recommend to another, and the other one recommended to be resigned, and then a future impeachment request for the next council. So being the first to go and review this is both warranted and still within our powers as council, as the executive committee. I understand that council might not like some of the procedural rationale, and I and others are happy to have that discussion with council if necessary, if they wish to have that. So I do understand where Ben's come from, but in my view, this is warranted action at this time. Okay. Is there any other comments? Judith, go ahead.
I'd also like to echo that council is technically the legal board of directors of the SFSS. So I would be very cautious to let the recent transgressions of a certain number of councillors lead to the point where we are establishing this very interesting precedence where we are signing on to confidential documentation without consulting the larger student body who is represented by the councillors. So I would caution against this moving forward.
Thank you, Judith. And the next council and exec can choose how they wish to go forward on these types of issues. This is not a precedent. We've released statements ahead in the past, primarily, and we understand, again, sometimes council did not like that, and we learned it, we heard about it, but it's still the end of the day, due to the nature of this topic, we are, personally, I'm willing to take that heat. Again, next exec and next council can have their own decisions and views on these things, and going forward when stuff comes to them. Either way, yeah, I'm in favor of this. Sign on the executive committee signing on to this letter. Any other last discussion items for this before we move to a vote? Yes, and as Chloe mentioned, she wanted to add that sign off on behalf of exec means something different than council signing off, which is true. Okay. I'm going to move to a vote. I haven't seen anything from exec committee members in the negative. So I'm going to move to a seeking unanimous consent. All in favor, seeking unanimous consent. If you'd like to abstain or dissent, please use the raise hand feature in Zoom, and I'll call you to record your vote. That passes unanimously. Okay, we're now moving on to, excuse me, I'm just double checking because we really changed from the agenda. Pass a budget for exec retreat is the title for the next item. And I'll read it. This is submitted by myself. Motion reads, whereas SFSS budgets for an executive committee each year, whereas this retreat is planned in advance with the incoming president, whereas some costs need to be approved ahead of time, like space deposits, be resolved that the executive committee approves spending up to $5,000 from line item 814/20 to allow for securing initial costs. I move that. Do I have a seconder?
Matt.
Thank you, Matt. Since I was the mover and submitted this, I'll introduce it. Basically, it's just helping, I think, Ella and others who are involved in planning the exec retreats is to have some money already pre set aside. Maximum exec can cover is $5,000 from a budgeted line item. And so that things like if there's going to be any hotel booking or any kind of initial costs or deposits or whatnot, that there's some money set aside for that and prepped already for it. That's really about it. Any discussion? Helen, I see you're listed. Go ahead.
Yes, thank you so much, Corbett. Wanted to say thank you for bringing this motion forward onto the executive agenda. I wanted to let you know that I did send out an email to you and Ella a while back. I don't know if it got lost or not, but because I do need to plan for the executive retreat, I'm just asking that maybe you, me, and Ella can meet sometime, hopefully this week or beginning of next week, to talk about it more so that I can go forward and start planning it alongside Ella's help. So that's all I wanted to bring up, and thank you.
Thanks. Okay, yes, I did talk to Ella like late last week. I mean, that's why I actually brought this, put it on the agenda, because I remembered that this needed to be a thing. And she did let me know, I think it was just because of all the other stuff that was on the list that she hasn't gotten to this yet, to reply to yet, but I'll remind her to do so. And yeah, and then again, I talked to her about potentially setting aside some money. And so this is where this came from. Okay, any other questions on this item? Okay, seeing none, I'll move to a vote. All in favor, seek unanimous consent. If you'd like to abstain or dissent, please use the raise hand feature, and I'll call on you to record your vote. Okay, that passes unanimously. The next item is the two items that I still have to write the motions for, the health plan recommendations. So please take a 5-minute break. So come back at 4:13 and I will introduce both motions. Thank you.
This meeting is being recorded.
Hi, everyone. We're back from a break. I have the two motions posted in chat. So the first one is Health and Dental Plan 24-month contract recommendation. And I'll read, whereas SFSS uses Student Care as its health and dental plan broker and administrator, whereas Student Care has completed a request for proposals process for health and dental plan insurance providers. Sorry, I miswrote that, mistyped that. Whereas they've come back to us with a recommendation for both a provider and a contract length, whereas Student Care has recommended remaining with Pacific Blue Cross with a 24-month agreement, whereas the agreement works out for a plan cost of $259.07 per student per year, whereas the Executive Committee has reviewed the results of the RFP in camera, whereas only Council can approve agreements lasting more than a year in length. We resolve that the Executive Committee recommended Council to approve the 24-month agreement with Pacific Blue Cross. I move that motion. Do I have a seconder?
Jess.
Thank you, Jess. So I'll introduce this motion. So this relates to discussion we had on camera, and Council will have a similar presentation provided to them at Council on the 27th. But basically, Pacific Cross seems to be the best option for us, and locking us in at a good rate. It's only slightly higher than our current plan is. It's only about $4 more per student. Would be good because it'll make sure that if there's any inflation costs or something that happen in the next year or so, that we're protected from that. But of course, we can only, Executive Committee can only approve agreements 1 year in length, and so we would have to recommend to Council to approve this this RFP process recommendation from Student Care. Do I have any questions? If you do, please list yourself. Go ahead, Jess.
Yeah, I think this is a good idea, and if students are worried about the costs or if they already have a plan, then I think like for the upcoming executive committee that they just need to work on really good communications material and work with the communications department to let students know when the opt-out deadline is, so that they don't have to pay this fee. But for students who don't have insurance under their parents or their guardians or anything like that, or if they're international students and if this is their only option, because things are increasing, we would have to follow that as well. So this would be a good plan.
Okay, thank you, Jess. Any other comments on this discussion, this item, this motion? Okay, seeing that, we'll move to a vote. All in favor seeking unanimous consent. If you'd like to abstain or dissent, please use raise hand feature in Zoom and I'll call on you to record your vote. Okay, that passes unanimously, or carries unanimously. Move on to the next item, health and dental plan 5% fee increase recommendation. Whereas the membership approved through referendum in spring 2028 the power for the board of directors, now council, to adjust the health and dental plan fee plus minus 5%. I should actually, okay, you know what? I'm going to actually amend this motion first, just add in to that first whereas clause to say the health and dental plan fee plus minus 5% that expire at this with, oh, I'll do another whereas clause. Whereas this power expires at the end of spring 2022. Whereas the SFSS health and dental plan fee has not increased in 3 years. Whereas the recommendation from the RFP process conducted by Student Care on behalf of the SFSS recommends increasing the health and dental plan fee by 5% to help offset inflation costs in the plan. Whereas the executive committee has reviewed the results of the RFP process and recommendations from Student Care. The result that the executive committee recommend to council to increase the health and dental plan fee by 5% for the fall 2022-2023 policy year. Do I have a mover? Do I have a seconder for that amendment? So, just for clarity, I'll just wait.
Just seconds if it's for the.
Thank you, Jess. Just for clarity, just an extra line saying that the power expires at the end of this spring term.
Yeah, second.
Thank you. I'll move to any last questions on that amendment? Okay. Seeing none, I'll move to a vote on this amendment. All in favor, seeking unanimous consent. If you'd like to abstain or dissent, please. If you'd like to abstain or dissent, please use the raise hand feature in Zoom and I'll call on you to record your vote. Seeing none, that passes unanimously, but now back onto the main motion, which has been amended. Same motion, except for with that extra whereas clause explaining that the, I'll write it out just so people, so what's your first half? Okay. Any questions on this particular recommendation? Because we're recommending for council to increase the fee by 5%. Just for the recording, we did have this discussion in camera, but just in case, it's primarily related to inflation and giving ourselves repositioning our health and dental plan to be in a healthy range in case of additional costs arise. And because we haven't increased the fee in 3 years, we've done our best over the last number of years, especially through the pandemic, to maintain our fees so they didn't have to increase. But you can only do that so much. Okay, seeing no other people listening, move to a vote. All in favor, seeking unanimous consent. If you'd like to abstain or dissent, please unmute your, sorry, use the raise hand feature in Zoom. I'll call on you to record your vote. Okay, that carries unanimously. I think that's actually all the items, but I think everything else has been moved off. Just double checking. Yeah, I think so. Well, and I don't think there's any. No, Fanny. I actually and one of the big changes after the in-camera when the X-camera was to move that. I'm going to put that to council. We're actually going to try to recommend doing two meetings of council next week because there's a whole bunch of different items, and so we're trying to find out a day if it's either a Tuesday or Thursday that would work for that. Okay, if there's nothing else, I don't believe there's anything else, so we'll move to adjourn. So I move to adjourn the meeting at 4:30 p.m. Do I have a seconder?
Jess.
Apologies for the odd. Thank you, Jess. Any discussion? Okay, seeing none, we'll move to vote. All in favor, seek unanimous consent. If you'd like to abstain or dissent, please use the raise hand feature and I'll call on you to record your vote. Okay, seeing none, that passes unanimously. Thank you. Have a good rest of your day, everyone.
Thank you.